He's a very outgoing sort of young guy and full of personality. He liked to have a lot of fun, a real farm boy and outdoors sort of person. And of course, he spent that year over in the outback in Aussie and he just loved that. He loved being outside with animals and
people.
Yeah, and people. He loved people. He's quite a gregarious sort of person,
Yes, I
wasn't
think
he?
somebody described him once as, he'd walk into a room and everything he'd light up the room. So he was a very warm person and people loved to be with him, and he cared about people too, didn't he?
Yep.
But he just loved being with people.
Not having him around has been a huge hole in our lives, I guess, and for the other children too. Our other kids. You take one out of their family, and it just changes the whole dynamics of that family structure, really. So, yeah.
It's been 10 years since Scott was killed. So how's his death impacted on your lives?
Hugely. I mean, it's changes. We sort of had a life before Scott was killed, and then a life after Scott was killed, and we sort of, it's a real benchmark that we measure things against almost nowadays. You sort of think back now, when did that happen? Was that before Scott died or not?
I guess over the other side of chaos is probably how I'd describe it. From the black pit of despair to the, thinking, okay, we can live with this, but it still hurts every day, I think. You can feel that part missing.
And I think, you say 10 years since Scott was killed, but I was thinking the other day, it's actually 3,653 days that he will, on his anniversary, and every one of those days we think of Scott, and I mean, not all day long, of course, but, there hasn't been one of those 3,653 days that we haven't thought of him. So.
And how difficult has it been for you to forgive Ewan McDonald?
It's a process, and it's not easy. It's a long process to do.
I think if you want to forgive is the thing, but sometimes when you get to anniversaries or birthdays or different things, you think, forgiveness is hard, and you can get.
I guess part of it too is not holding on to bitterness and hatred, because if you do that, you just we'd be the ones that suffer. So you can't hang on to those feelings of anger and bitterness, or it just eats you up, and then we end up getting crook.
If McDonald didn't kill Scott, who do you believe did?
We don't even go there, honestly. I mean, we're really looking forward with the children and grandchildren. That's been the focus. And if we keep going back and saying why or what if, I mean, what if destroys you, and so we don't even go there. It really is something that we have to look forward and help these grandchildren, especially, get a decent life for them.
We've learned to look after ourselves and each other and our children. We make sure we see them a lot, and we say I love you a lot more, I think, don't we? And but still, if the phone rings at a funny time, my heart stops and I think, what's happened to the kids, or what's the matter, or still after all this time, and and you get knots in your stomach, and so a lot of things won't go from that, and we're different people, but I hope better, and so we try and help a few people along the way, I guess.